My analysis of reshuffles as a journalist, first and foremost, always has been that why has this taken place? What I have come to appreciate and understand over the years and now being in government is that you do this for various reasons. Among many others is to, like you rightly said, put your best foot forward. In some situations, you might have tried somebody at a certain place, but you think that he probably would be better off at this particular place because of one or two reasons. What some might not be performing as much as you had hoped that they will. So maybe if it is over 10, they might be doing 4, doing 5, or doing 6. And you think that if you send them to this place, rather they might be performing at 8 or 9 over 10, rather than where they are. That also comes into place. There are other times when other political and national considerations also come into play greatly in how these things are done, and that reflects in why some would leave the administration entirely, and why some would be moved from one ministry to the other in order to be able to serve the purpose for which His Excellency the President is aiming at.
Kobe, do you share this view, I mean, just expressed by Stan, or you are one of those who believe in what is widely held by people that reshuffle is carried out amongst ministers, I mean, move them from one place to the other, particularly when they're having difficulty on their earlier positions?
No, I don't think so at all. I think that, first of all, we must understand one thing. In Ghana, we don't elect parties. We don't elect government. We elect a president. Now, once we elect the president, we give him the right and responsibility to form a government to deliver on the manifesto that he sold to the people of Ghana, on the basis of which he is elected into government. Now, given the manifesto promise that the president has made, he determines which team amongst a pool of individuals available to him, both in the party and outside the party, that can help him to achieve the aims and objectives. Now, having worked with people over a period, he is now in a better position to say that, look, I think that, yes, you are performing here all right, but I think I can get optimum out of you, like San just said, in this position or the other. Not necessarily because you are having problem. If you're having problem, we cut you out, because then you are not performing as we would wish you to have. You understand? So I don't think that it's about people having problems or that kind of thing. In any case, take for instance, and I'm going to cut controversy over this one. Take for instance the matter of the outgone health minister, who has had problem with his doctors and all that, especially with the view that, well, doctors were on strike, he was in his constituency, even though he was unwell. People didn't forgive him for that just because he was in his constituency. Assuming that that created a problem, he has not been reshuffled to another ministry. He's been asked to go and sit back while maybe there's consideration for if it can be placed somewhere else or it cannot be placed anywhere else. You understand? So really, it is not about whether somebody is having a problem. It is about the objective for which the president has been elected, and which he knows that the people of Ghana are going to hold him accountable, especially as he's going for re-election. So he must necessarily give the people of Ghana that which he promised them in his manifesto, and therefore he must choose a team that is capable of delivering with him on the promise that he made to the people of Ghana. And I think that on the basis of that, people should rather wait and see when we come to the end of the term. This is the manifesto, largely 60% delivered, largely 60% undelivered. It failed. 80% delivered. Wow, okay. The factors, we all know that manifestos all over the world, you are unable to meet all the promises. But then to the extent that you have made the effort to meet those things, and the percentage that you have met will determine whether or not you are capable of being given a next time or not. And that is the way to judge these things. It's not the way to say that there is no excitement in the air, or somebody can pull a figure out of the air and say this is team B or this is team C or whatever. Like the president said earlier in 2009, if they are team B and they are delivering to his satisfaction because he is the captain of the team, the coach of the team, that is.
Let me still stay with you, Kobe. I mean, It is quite uncharacteristic for reshuffles to be explained, for the president to give reasons why he took a certain decision. But it appears that in this country, anytime reshuffles have happened, people say that we need to hear some explanations. Do you subscribe to the view that, I mean, the president or the presidency must explain why they shift people from one place to the other, or why they show ministers the exit?
You see,
reshuffle?
For that question to hold as a really valid question, we must then hold that even at a time that people are being appointed in the first place, we should be giving reasons why this or that particular person is being appointed to as a minister, let alone to a specific position. And that would have come in as part of the prior approval process by Parliament, which will be one of the key questions that Parliament would have had to answer before approving. To the extent that that is not the issue, that has, in fact, it doesn't play any major role at all in the appointment process. Maybe superficially, a member of the panel might ask you, why do you think the president has reposed his confidence in you? That's a different matter. But asking the president to explain to Parliament why he thinks X, Y, Z is capable or fit for this position before the Parliament approval process begins. That is the matter I'm talking about, not where an individual appointee is asked, why do you think the president has? That's a different matter. You understand what I mean? To the extent that that is not part of this thing, when the president moves somebody else to that person to another place, or moves another person to this place, I don't think that perhaps it is just a matter of inquisitiveness, or should I say overzealous expression of openness in governance for people to say that, we need answers. Because if you really need the answer, that answer should have been at the time that the man was being appointed as minister in the first place. That question should have been answered at that point. To the extent that we have not even asked that question, it is not part of the vetting process that the president should tell the people of Ghana the reason why he's appointing James Ajenim Boateng as Deputy Minister for Information in 2009. Why should he now be explaining if he has moved him to tourism, or brought him back from tourism to, I think that it's just overzealous belief in the openness of governance and all that. That is not to say that government should not be open. That is not that's not what I'm arguing against at all. Government must be open and all that. But the openness must be something born out of reason. For instance, like I'm saying, from the beginning, if the people of Ghana say that from the beginning, before you appoint a minister, let us know why you are appointing him, that's a different matter. Then we can deal with those matters going forward.
Stan, I'm sure that you're one of those who believe in openness and transparency and accountability. There are many people who say that in the interest of all these good governance indicators, openness, transparency, accountability, I mean, when the president carries out a reshuffle, for example, more particularly when he shows ministers the exit, he must be giving some explanations. What do you think?
When you were nominated as Deputy Minister for Information in 2009, did the President give any reasons for your nomination? I mean, I think the points that Kobe made are quite apt. Yes, openness, etc. If there are issues about a particular person's nominations or appointment to a particular place where there might be issues of conflict of interest, or there is some demonstrable lack of understanding of certain issues, for that matter, I think that we are all free to raise those issues and bring them to the attention of the appointing authority or otherwise. But the quest for greater openness and transparency, which President Mills has more than exemplified, you know, in Ghanaian history, should not necessarily lead us to the president now coming to explain why I have asked James Ajenim Boateng to go back to the Information Ministry, why I've asked Honorable E.T. Mensah to go to the Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Houses, etc. I do not see how that would enhance or improve on our openness and transparency as a country at all.
Okay, but clearly, I mean, the decision to reshuffle, or the reshuffle itself, must be premised on something. Something must have activated it.
And that is why I said in my response to your very first question that it is the president who is in charge, and he is the one who would say that, I think looking at ABCD, having, you know, worked with my team, having met them in cabinet, having seen them defend, you know, their policy positions in cabinet, having seen them implement the decisions of the administration, I think that it is time for me to do ABCD as part of a process of rejuvenating the team. I think that even in private organizations, there are times when they just go on a break, take a weekend to just go and relax, reorient themselves and come back again. And it's part of a process of getting them to, you know, just, you know, free up your mind a little, and they expect that productivity would improve. There are some who in very large multinational organizations also, you know, are able to move their middle level management team around. You know, someone is a brand manager for Star, at another point is brand manager for Malt, etc. I mean, it's just part of that process. So he looks at it, he looks at the situation and thinks that, I think that this person must go here to be able to do this. This person must step out for this person to come as part of a process of strengthening the team, etc. And then also don't forget that there is also some balancing that has to be done at some point. When you do a reshuffle, there's some balancing. You're going to do the next one. You need to consider a few things, regional considerations, whose strength will be okay here, so that, because I need this person's strength rather at this place for him to do something. So who do I get for that person to be able to do ABCD? And you know that apart from the position of Attorney General and Minister for Justice, no other ministerial position is constitutionally guaranteed. And what that means is that you do not need to be a journalist to be a minister for information. You do not need, I mean, to be a water resources engineer to be a minister for water resources. You just need some level of managerial experience, or better, to be able to bring that political, you know, management that is required by the ministry. So if after a while the president thinks that, having worked with you, I think that you do better at employment and social welfare, that then becomes opportunity. You also look at the fact that then there are some new entrants. For instance, Honorable Moses Asaga, who we all know, you know, very competent person, worked hard in the energy sector, etc. You know, but he's been brought to the Ministry of Employment and Social Welfare. He'll be able to bring his experience to bear in that ministry. Is it time for me to bring people like that into the administration? Yes. Are there any people that I can let them go out and bring these people to, as a way of rejuvenating, you know, the team or cabinet? Yes. So the president has a lot of things that will be playing up in his mind. We are engaged in some guesswork here, but all these issues surely will be part of what would get him to take a decision to do this at this time or at